Let's go up here. Maybe the water will live right here. So we'll just take and go across. And normally, if water is still, it's flat, it's level. So try to keep your strokes pretty straight. You don't want your water to run off on the floor.
You don't want that water to run over the edge of the flat plane. Because you know that's what you guys say. Well, what about the edge? Alright, sorry. Flat Earth Dan here. That was Bob Ross, reminding you that the Earth and water is always level, unless there's waves. Now, speaking of waves, wiggly waves, let's learn about what my three of my favorite mentors, dead people, Alan Watts, Terence McKenna, and Robert Anton Wilson. Let's see what they thought about the flat Earth. Now, I didn't prepare this too well, but I'm going to do my damnedest to show you what Alan Watts, a British philosopher, you should know who he is. He took the Eastern arts and philosophy and traditions, learned about them, and then taught it to us stupid Westerners over here. Terence McKenna is a psychonaut. Just look up what the fucking definition of a psychonaut is. Somebody who traverses the interdimensional planes through the responsible use of psychedelic substances. He's also an author, lecturer, and Robert Anton Wilson, American author, conspiracy theorist. There's so much these people did, and I want to tell you, fellow flat earthers and globalists out there, what they thought about the flat earth. So have a listen. They all have different opinions, very, very different opinions, and different levels of open-mindedness, which we all could learn from. So let's first go to old Robert Anton Wilson. Let's see here. Got one of his books here, the New Inquisition. See, history and anthropology reveal that humans have made do, or at least survived with an incredible variety of metaphor systems or emic realities. In our own Western civilization, only 600 years ago, everybody was living, sensing existence through the Talmud model, with a man-like God at the top of everything. Choirs of angels, thrones and dominions descending therefrom, humans wandering about on a flat earth in the middle, and a burning hell full of demons beneath. Some of the denizens of County Kerry, and evidently some Hollywood screenwriters, are still in that reality tunnel, which is just as real from inside as Beethoven's grandeur as in the existential reality of those inside of classical music. Yeah. See, and then he talks about Robert Anton Wilson talks about the flat earth a lot in his books. This is a non-fiction book of his. Where else does he say? So I'm reading this book currently. Let's see here. Where is it? Another problem may be that while most of us have accepted the scientific model that the Earth is spherical, we retain neurosemantic reflexes from the flat Earth reality tunnel. Yes, Robert, I know the flat Earth confused you. That's why you talk so much about it in your books. Poor Robert Anton Wilson and poor Terence McKenna. They just loved space travel. They really thought they loved Star Wars and Star Trek, and they thought that people landed on the moon. Terence McKenna believed that people landed on the moon, and he didn't like conspiracies. Wasn't a fan of conspiracy theories that much. Matter of fact, Terence McKenna made fun of conspiracy theories and stayed away from all that shit. And I take that stance too, except I research conspiracy theories like Robert Anton Wilson did. Oh, speaking of Robert Anton Wilson, what else does he have to say? Let's check out what Robert Anton Wilson has to say. He quickly derailed the conversation. Another thing that bothers me, why don't we ever challenge the spherical Earth theory? Huh? Look, Joe said, if all the scientists and eggheads and commies and liberals are pushing it in our schools all the time, there must be something a little fishy about it. Did you ever stop to think that there's no way, just no way at all, to reconcile a spherical Earth with the story of the flood, or Joshua's miracle, or Jesus standing on the pinnacle of the temple and seeing all the kingdoms of earth? And I ask you, man to man, in all your travels, have you ever seen the curvature anywhere? Every place I've been, it's flat. Are we going to trust the Bible and the evidence of our own senses? Or are we going to listen to a bunch of agnostics and atheists and laboratory smocks? But the Earth's shadow on the moon... This is a response. But the Earth's shadow on the moon during an eclipse. Joe took a dime out of his pocket and held it up. This casts a circular shadow, but it's flat, not spherical. Cortez stared into space for a long moment, while Joe waited with suppressed excitement. You know something, Cortez finally said? All the Bible miracles and our own travels and the shadow on the moon would make sense if the Earth was shaped like a carrot, and all the continents were on the flat end. That's in his Robert Anton Wilson's book, his trilogy, Illuminatus. Illuminatus 1, 2, and 3. That is a fiction book. Robert Anton Wilson likes to blend fiction and non-fiction, like me. So, as you can see, Robert Anton Wilson was much more open-minded. Now, if you listen to a Terence McKenna lecture, one of the audience members asks Terence about the flat Earth. He doesn't really ask it. He kind of makes fun of it. He's like, what does he say? I'm not sure what exact lecture it's from, the title of the name. But I have listened to it, and I will find it again. But yeah, Terence blows it off. It's he doesn't really answer the question or the statement from the audience member. He's like, oh yeah, it's absurd. It's like those flat Earth people. They're just absurd. So Terence would have thought I am absurd, just like some of you think that I'm absurd. It is absurd. That's why he thought it. Stupid. Well, what does Alan Watts think of the flat Earth? Here, let's take a listen.
I'm afraid the problem is partly due to Mr. Euclid, who invented geometry, because he didn't really measure the Earth. He measured and gave us ideas about the very simple forms in his own mind. And perhaps we should come to the conclusion that he really had a rather weak intellect.
Oh. What was that, Alan? The father of geometry, who thought he measured the shape of the Earth and concluded that it was a sphere? Alan thinks that he has a weak intellect. Now, Alan Watts definitely... and there's so much more. Alan Watts definitely had a much more open mind, and he wrote about it in his books, and he talked about it a lot more in his lectures. And now I'm going to go real quick. One more thing to... it's Robert Anton Wilson talked about it a lot. Real quick. Sorry to keep this going. I'm going to end this. So, see it right there. Robert Anton Wilson. This is an article that he wrote. After all, the Earth looks flat. See, he wrote. Robert Anton Wilson wrote a lot of articles. See, this is an article that he wrote. And he's just always talking about it, the flat earth. He just couldn't get it out of his head. See? He used it as an intelligence experiment. He used the flat earth to see how open-minded people were. So maybe we should all be a little bit more open-minded. If somebody asks you, "Hey, are you open-minded?" and you immediately reply, "Yes, I'm very open-minded." Well, then you're probably not very open-minded. You should at least think about it. Are you open-minded? Am I open-minded? If your immediate response is, if somebody asks you, "Hey, do you consider yourself open-minded?" and you don't think about it at all and you immediately respond yes, you're not open-minded.